Princess Diana in your remit as well. I mean, now we look back at her again in glowing terms, but when you look at the stories of her time, you know, and particularly, you know, everybody fell in love with a fairy tale wedding. I only met her briefly, you know, 4 times. You obviously met her and you know, were responsible for deciding what goes in papers and stuff. What were your memories and what were your thoughts of her as a person?
Actually, no, it's interesting because when I was in America for 20 years running operations for Rupert there before coming here in '95 to run the newspapers. Within a few weeks of my arriving, I get my secretary, who's a hardcore, rough and tumble New Yorker, said, "There's a woman on the phone, says she's Princess Diana." So I'm thinking, okay, you know, you could often get people pretending to be people all the time, but you can't take chances. Yeah. So I said, well, I'll take it, and I spoke to her. And it was her.
How did you know it was her, though?
Well, I could, the moment I spoke to her, I could tell it was her.
So
and subsequently, no, it was definitely her. Yeah. But she was complaining about the fact that her life was being made a misery by photographers, right? Oh. And she said, and I'll never forget these words, she said, "Mr. Hinton, can you help me? I'm a damsel in distress." I made that one of the chapter headings in my book. And I talked to her and said, and it seems old-fashioned reference now, that she was actually the new Jackie Onassis. This is the mid-90s, and this is what it's going to be like. And these paparazzi aren't actually employed by us. The truth is, we were buying their pictures, so there was another issue there. But and then you fast forward by a couple of years, and I get a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning from the office that she'd been in a car crash, and that her boyfriend, Dodi Fayed, was dead. And I went into the office, and there was a period there when the police in Paris, where she crashed, had said that had apparently arrested some photographers. And of course, I felt like sick, faint, because I thought, is this... as it turned out, of course, the driver was incredibly drunk, going very fast. He was the one who caused the accident. But that was the moment when I thought, you know what, we may not have been responsible for her death, but we did lay siege to her life. And there was a similar situation with Kate Middleton being harassed years later. And I could see exactly the same scenes, and I made a statement and told our editors, we're not buying any paparazzi pictures, none. And that statement I made, and of course the other newspapers, because we were the big gorilla in the street, they all followed suit. And the next morning, from there being scores of them there the previous day, there was no one there but an ITN camera crew looking for misbehaving photographers. So it stopped it. But and since then, I think there's been much more cooperation. There are still difficult moments, because the whole issue of the relationship between the media and the press is massive, because the media wants to cover the press and the royalty, and no matter what the royals think, they know that the only currency they've got is people's popularity, their popularity among the people, and that they need the newspapers to achieve it. But there'll never be a smooth relationship.
I think it's lovely she used that phrase, though, because she was an incredibly beautiful woman and so popular, Marilyn Monroe-esque, really, when you think about it. But that phrase, "a damsel in distress," it would disarm you, wouldn't it, as a man? You know, you think, oh, I know, that's quite clever. You know?
She was very clever, but she was a troubled woman, and it was. And when she did die, the papers. We felt involved somehow, because she was like such an integral part of the coverage. And she came along, I mean, her last Christmas party, at Christmas, she came to the Sunday Times Christmas party. So she did maintain, quite cleverly, a good relationship with the media.
Yeah, very clever, actually.